prepare yourselves, for it is time to embark on fetch questing with your guides, Zonda and Elgwin.
Sir, it's Zach and Chris.
Zach and Chris, let us now embark. It's a gaming podcast.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Fetch Questing. I'm your host as always, Chris. With me this week is Zach. What's up?
Hey guys, good to join you this week. It's very special for me to be here this week.
It is. I mean, I was thinking about kicking you off the podcast, but
Right.
there were no other options. The robot from previous episodes still being built, so...
That's a lot of work, a robot. I mean...
I know.
I'm just itching to get off, like, so badly. I'm like, just finish it already, man. But whatever, I'm here.
I know. I guess it'll do for now. In like 2022, he'll be done.
Yeah.
Or I've given up completely. You know, I just thought about, I did not put something on my list, but I'm going to put it on my list now.
Oh, it's going on the list.
Yeah, I'm going to put it on the list for later.
Wow, what a tease.
Yeah, what a tease. Yeah, I know. This podcast of things. I bet people listen to us now, like, I know something they're going to talk about. We're like a vicious circle. It's going to come out eventually. We're going to bitch about one of like 5 things, you know?
It's so true.
I can't help it that they keep doing stupid things with the things we like.
Yeah, exactly.
I can promise, other than the fact that they announced that The Mandalorian's coming out in October, that's it. That's the only Star Wars talk. It's done.
Yippee!
Yippee. Great. I still need to finish that first season.
Yeah, I know. You really do. It's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
You'd enjoy it.
I know. Well, I'm off next Monday and Tuesday, so I think I'll dip in. I had to finish The Witcher, and then I was finishing Dragon Ball. Then I went to the other Dragon Ball game. So I've had things to do.
That's fair. That's very fair. I have played a little bit of Dragon Ball.
It's exciting. Yeah, we can get that out of the way. Let's go and talk about
we can chat about that
Dragonball Kakorat.
Oh,
Dragonball.
Kamehameha. So, Galikogun.
Galikogun. So where are you
I don't
at
know how we said. What's that?
Where are you at in this Kakarot?
Well, game? I finished the Saiyan saga. So I
look at you. You did it.
Yeah, I did it. It was fun. I'm having a good time with it. I really am. I've mentioned before that, a lot of the gaming I do, usually I have to kind of balance when I game and when I hang out with my wife and et cetera, et cetera. And so I like to find games that she likes to watch, and that has been, for a while, that was Dragon Quest, which I really want. I keep telling her I'm going to get back into it eventually, but it's just hard. It's hard when there's so many other games I'd like to play that are potentially shorter. But anyway, she wanted to watch Dragon Quest, or she wanted to watch Witcher, and I was like, well, I want to play Dragon Ball. Like, I really want to play it. Like, can I please play it?
You're like, also The Witcher is like 100 hours long.
Exactly. I mean, and so is Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Like, each of them are so long. I'd rather finish this. I mean, this one's maybe half the time, maybe a little more, more than half, but. Anyway, got to finally, convince her. She was like, all right, I'm just going to look at TikTok or do whatever on my phone. And then, I started playing it, and she didn't mind it as much. So that was good. She basically was like, oh, the combat is interesting. I've never seen a game like this. It's cool. It's really, it's flashy. It's fun. And I'm like, yeah, sure. She's never seen a Dragon Ball game whatsoever. So,
yeah.
While the aerial combat is not necessarily, I mean, it's not new to the genre by any means. This one does have the best combat. We've kind of said that before. I feel like I'm having more fun with it than like any of the Xenoverse games. It can still get repetitive. You can get into cycles, but you kind of have to figure out with each battle what your cycle is going to be. So at least there's that. At least that kind of differentiates it. I don't know.
Well, I also feel like they changed the characters enough that you don't like... It's not like you're just playing Goku. So I think that helps with it. I think that's why I never got bored of it, because I was like, all right, well, I know in a while I'm going to be Gohan, or, especially because like Gohan's growing up, Piccolo's getting different things, so you are getting more moves. It's not where you start out with like all the moves. So it's like, you're going to get there. So by the time you get like, okay, I know I'm going to get Super Saiyan 2 at some point, and then I'm going to get Super Saiyan 3. And it does change it up enough that you're like, all right, I need enough key to be able to get to Super Saiyan 3, but I know it's going to drain, so I have to watch my key enough to keep charging it if I want to stay in the Super Saiyan 3, you know? So I do like that there's a give and take to it.
Yeah, definitely.
But like I said, I do like in those arenas, I think they're good about you not running into like invisible walls, which is good because like in contrast, I've been playing Xenoverse 2 and it's like, dude, you just hit fucking shit all the time where you're like being blocked by shit. There's like buildings in your way. It's just, I don't know. It's a terrible 3D arena fighter. It's fine, you know, but it's like in contrast to this game, it's so much better, you know, and having played like, what was it? Raging Burst 2 or whatever it is, like those arenas were even smaller and like, man, it's like going back to some of the other ones that I did last year. It's been weird. It's like been a journey back to like this, you know, because I played all those Dragon Ball games last year and it's like Kakarot's definitely a step above those. So
yeah. Well, and it's fun to kind of put some restrictions on yourself too. Like I was fighting Vegeta as Goku and I went Kaioken. And we were both, I mean, Kaioken drains your health, which I think is a really cool mechanic. You know, I know the Super Saiyans drain your stamina and Kaioken drains your health. And I think that makes a lot of sense because it's really taxing on the body. I know because I do it all the time. And anyway, in my fight against Vegeta, you know, I just had it going consistently. And I was like, all right, you know, like I'm either I'm going to win or I'm going to lose. Like, this is just the restriction I'm putting on myself to add a little bit of challenge. And it was fun. It's kind of made it feel closer to the show and feels a little more cinematic at times. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun with that saga. It's I'm looking forward to the Frieza saga for sure because it's definitely. I just have a soft spot for both of those sagas because I stopped watching as a kid during the Frieza saga, right at the end of the Frieza saga. So, it's kind of more of a nostalgia thing for me than that. I love the Cell saga too, and Buu saga's fine. I think for those of you who are new listeners, I really experienced the Buu saga for the first time with Dragon Ball Z Kai this last year, other than kind of visiting it in other games. So I always knew the gist of the story, but it's not the best. It's whatever. So looking forward to continuing to play and looking forward to doing all that stuff. Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at.
And I will say, I think some of that stuff is even at the end of Kakarot, I think some of that boost stuff, it moves fast. I mean,
yeah,
like in the game, like they're like, yeah, let's get through this.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm not surprised by that at all.
Fat Boo, Eva Boo, Super Boo, Kid Boo. All right, great, we're done. You know, like it. I mean, it moves, which is good because, like I said, I think they know that's the weakest of them. You know,
it's a weird saga because it doesn't. Well, I did a little research on it, watched a couple of videos on it, and it was really the first time that Toriyama was less restricted by his editors because Dragon Ball was getting so big that there was one editor in particular that like stopped working for him or something. From when I wish I was a little more prepared on this. I was just kind of watching some videos for fun. But it basically just came down to, you know, he just kind of went nuts with it. And there's so much in that saga that is superfluous. Like when you look at the video I watched, broke down the 3-act structure, you know, that most media has.
Oh yeah, I've watched
and looked at and looked at the Frieza saga compared to the Buu saga. And then the biggest takeaway is that when he broke it down, there's so many events in the Buu saga that don't even fit in that 3-act structure because they're superfluous, which like even the fusions and a lot of Gohan stuff, you know, Ultimate Gohan and Gotenks and Vegito. That's Vegito, right? Yeah, it's not Vegeta. Most of that stuff doesn't actually add to, you know, the resolution of the conflict in any way. It just pads it. So it's just it's cool, like you see that stuff, but then to see it go nowhere and to be worthless, it's like, okay, well then if that's not how you're gonna resolve it, then why even do that? I guess, you know, in Toriyama's mind, it was to show that like this guy's so tough, you can throw all these big things at him, but
yeah, I think that's probably what it was. Is he's like, all right, we're gonna give everybody a power up, and it's still not gonna be enough, you know.
But then when the end result is just Goku using Super Saiyan 3 and suddenly being able to like really hold his own when earlier Super Saiyan 3 wasn't enough against Fat Boo. I don't know. It's like,
well, I mean, he still has to get enough energy from everybody
Yeah.
else, you know. Like,
and then he's got to get the
they still have to use the Dragon Balls on Namek to give him enough
right
energy in order to do it. So it's like,
it's fine. It's fine. It's the other issue that it brought up was that while you get to know Frieza and Cell, because sure they have transformations, but they're the same dude every time. All of Boo's transformation change his personality and the way he is so drastically that you're basically getting a new villain every time. Like Fat Boo is a completely different person than Super Boo, and then Super Boo with Gohan is a completely different person. He's way more intelligent than previous, and then finally like Kid Boo and all the iterations of him are similar. They're at least more intelligent, and he's a bit of a villain for a while, and then you get Kid Boo, which is a lot of nothing. He's just there and crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, out of all of that, I mean, it's like that's the problem with I think the Boo saga is that he's just not memorable. Like
exactly,
none of the Boo stuff is memorable, other than obviously Fat Boo, who's great. Right. It's just it's because he's interesting because he's not all bad. So even when Hercule comes in and like he's like saving him, it's like
that's where some of it shines the best.
That's where it's interesting, and you're like, okay, this is a good character, and it's nice that they kept him later on. He came back in Super and he lives with Hercule. It makes sense, but it's also
I really like Super Boo when he does start getting, he starts planning and he starts doing these things that are more Frieza-like or more Cell-like. It's like, all right, now we have a villain. All right, never mind. Now we don't anymore.
Yeah, and he's not constrained by the same problems that Cell had. And that was the interesting thing is that, like, all right, he can just absorb you completely, and take on part of you. It's not like, okay, where I have, and I do like that they weren't really like, it's not the same thing, like him transforming almost. It's just like, hey, we're getting like different like iterations of it. He's absorbing something but using it. And like he's outwardly changing, but it's not like, oh, I've got to be perfect. He wasn't from the onset being like, I'm going to be Kid Boo and telling you about it the whole time.
That's true. Yeah, and that's how he's different than Cell. And I give it to Toriyama for his creativity and for trying something new, and he really wanted to create a villain that stood apart from Frieza and Cell, because how do you do that? Because Frieza and Cell are so similar, but different enough that if you just had another villain who was similar but different enough, then all three, you'd look at them all three and be like, all right, he can do one type of thing.
Yeah, they're different mechanically. Like Frieza and Cell are different mechanically, but like they still talk. They still have this like, I'm better than you, like, I
mean, their motivations are somewhat similar. They both just Cell just wants to fly around to different planets and take them over, destroy them, be the strongest. Frieza is a little more, has a bit more of a plan there where, the buying and selling of planets and ruling.
Yeah.
But they both have the motivations of, I am the strongest. I want everyone to acknowledge that, and then Boo doesn't care. Boo does care about that too. I don't know. That's just a running thing in the Dragon Ball series. Anyway, I don't know. It's very. He doesn't care as much about that. He cares about when he's Super Boo. He gets really angry if somebody says he's stronger than him, or even is Fat Boo. If someone says they're stronger than him, he wants to prove them wrong. But he doesn't care about the ruling people or the.
Yeah, he's just about being strong, which is But I mean, him being like this ancient evil, it makes sense that he's just that's why it's great, like, later on in Super where Fat Boo's like, I could still murder you, Hercule. Don't fucking cross me.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Don't piss me off because I will kill you and I'll eat you. Turn you into chocolate, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I'm looking to... I think now in Dragon Ball I get to start experiencing some of the subquest stuff in their full...
Yeah, there's a lot more
reality.
of it, yeah.
I know they kind of introduce villainous enemies, and I know that finally I'll get to start collecting the Dragon Balls soon and doing that. Maybe that's not until after the Frieza saga, but I really do want to delve into the extra stuff, the stuff that isn't just the main series, because again, the main series is great, and reliving it for the billionth time is cool, whatever. But I'm excited to try the extra stuff.
Well, that's why I was thinking, obviously I guess I didn't say, but I beat it. Yeah, I guess I should tell. But
oh yeah.
I did everything I platinum did. I did everything. I beat Mira at the end. Like I said before, that was a cool thing that they did. That was interesting, kind of bringing those together. Which, I mean, it makes sense because Toa and Mira can travel across timelines, so it makes sense that they could show up,
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Because at the end of Xenoverse, they're like, hey, we're going to go to another timeline and get it. So it's almost weird because it's almost like it's like the next thing that they would logically be doing. And I'm kind of wondering if it's like, hey, we put this thing in here because we know they're making another Xenoverse and we can kind of tie it into that, because otherwise there's no real reason for them to be there. It's weird for them to be there. But if there's going to be a Xenoverse announcement this year, which everybody pretty much thinks there is going to be, because I mean that game came out 2016, because the second one came out like the next year, because they were like a year apart, because it was like 2015 2016 they came out, so it's been 4 years since the Xenoverse game was out. So it's been a while, and it's crazy they're still doing stuff for that game. So but they finished all of it now, so it would make sense that another one would come out, which, I mean, I could be excited for that, and it's been long enough that I think they could do a lot of good stuff with that. They need a new engine, but
yeah,
but so we'll see. But yeah, overall I liked it. Like that side stuff was kind of what kept me going. Like the story stuff I was just kind of blowing through. It was cool to see some of it, but like I said, even though the RPG stuff is not great, I would say that's the stuff that I enjoyed doing, because like I've seen the saga so many times that it's like, all right, that's cool, but I kind of want to see what's off to the corners, and just doing the video game stuff is, I'm like, the world is it looks so good, and it's so detailed, like Dragonball would be, like that. It's like, it's just fun to kind of fly around those places, and just see the other characters. So really that's what I enjoyed. It's just like interacting with all the different characters, seeing the side stuff, them kind of explaining, kind of filling in some gaps, even if it's not canon, who gives a shit. They're explaining some things that's cool, and so that's the stuff that I enjoy.
They're just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun to get it acknowledged and be like, oh yeah, it's fun to hear an explanation for that's somewhat different from the show or expanded on the show. Yeah, I mean, it's just fun.
It's stuff that they didn't talk about, like the Beastmen. They kind of explain why they don't exist anymore, and why they did then and not now, because it was like an experiment, and then they kind of stayed that way, and they weren't supposed to be like that, So it's just small things like that they were probably, Toriyama, I know, had some stuff to do with this game, but it's,
And some of that fits, but some of it doesn't. Like the president is a beast man, but he has a painting on his wall of like his ancestor who's a beast man.
Yeah.
And I know that doesn't really make sense, but whatever. It's just fun.
Yeah, so it's like, that stuff, those little tidbits are cool, even if it's like, hey, this is in the universe of the game, it's still kind of cool to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because it's never going to be addressed otherwise. So it's just like, okay, yeah, these one-off things are fine. My only complaint is that whenever you do the driving thing, Piccolo does not change clothes, and it's very disappointing.
Oh, I want to see him in that yellow shirt and that hat.
He does not do that. When I wish they had like changed clothes for that, and I was hoping they would, but they don't, because they had ample time to, like, I get it. It's a whole nother model for a thing that is only like 5 minutes. And I'm sure it's a ton of work to like change their outfits, because there are no outfits in the game other than changing, like, like Gohan's growing up. So yes, he has different clothes. But, and they're usually like in a cutscene, and then that's how that character model is going to be. But, it would have been nice. It would have been a lot of work for a 5-minute thing, but I was kind of hoping they would.
But it would have been fun.
It would have been cool, because that's what I was hoping. If you're going to put that, if you're going to go that niche and put that in there, go all the way.
Go all the way.
Yeah, because Piccolo looks ridiculous, and that's what's great about it. His backwards hat and shit, and it's great. But yeah, overall, I really enjoyed it. I didn't, I don't feel like I wasted my time. I think at the end of it, I had like 54 hours, which is crazy that I did that in a week, really. In like less than a week and a half, I put that much time into it, and it just...
Yeah, man, it's like a second full-time job.
And it didn't... I would say it never felt like that, though. It's the first game in a long time that I wasn't like, okay, I gotta do this. And when I was looking, I was like, damn, I've played for 54 hours. Like, it was crazy to think I'd played that long, because it didn't feel like that. the game was never like arduous. So even if people are like, oh, the side stuff isn't great, it's not great, but there's always something pushing you forward, and you also don't have to do any of that. So, but like I said, I just like spending time in that world. So it was, some games are long and they feel long. This one doesn't, like story-wise, like I said, by the end of Boo, I was ready for Boo to be over, but that's just because I don't really like that arc. That has nothing to do with the game itself. But like I said, we'll keep checking in on you and getting your thoughts and stuff like that.
Hopefully I can get some
progress.
more and more.
Yep. So I want to talk about a few things before we get to the main thing that I want to talk about. But like I said, I've been playing Xenoverse 2. We talked a little bit off air. I'm trying to get that platinum. I don't know if I'm going to. I'm just in the mood to play Dragon Ball, so I guess I went back to that and was like, all right, well, and I've done a lot more. I hit level 99. I got I had to do one thing, which God, it was a pain in the ass. You have to do like these tests with in order to get like classes and do everything, and there's one that you have to like Z rank, and it's a pain in the ass in order to get the last one. So I did that. Then you're like, that's the God class, and then you have to train with Whis, do all of his stuff, and then do a bunch of other stuff, and then you can get Super Saiyan Blue. So I did that, so like now I can turn in Super Saiyan Blue. But it drains your fucking ki like a motherfucker, so you can't even really stay in it that long. So it's like Dragon Ball Kakarot, it's pretty slow. It's not like, and Xenoverse is literally just like, it's gone. And so I'm just like, well, that sucks. So
yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, it's not even really worth it, because
you want to like experience it. I mean, that's the point. You want to be in it and kick ass. Like,
yeah, and I mean, I get it if you're like online or something, but at that point, like, if you're already level, by the time you're getting Super Saiyan Blue, you're in the end game. You're probably already level 99 because it came out after that. And so I'm just like, you're probably at the end of the thing, so just let us have fun, like, at this point, there's not much I can do to, like, I can't get any more powerful, like, I maxed out on everything, I've done everything, like, there's no more for me to do, so just let me have fun with that, So, like I said, I've got a few more things to do, but I might just I've been trying to just do, like, a few parallel quests each day so I don't get burnt out,
Yeah, that's legit. Everything okay on your end?
Yeah, sorry. Man.
Oh, no worries.
Just coughing. Didn't want
waiting to hear more about Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
So I've been doing that, and then I've been playing one other game. I've been playing Torchlight. I don't know. I'm sure you've heard of Torchlight. I don't know if you ever played Torchlight.
Maybe.
It's like the Diablo style one.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, but they had one a while back. I think it was last year, maybe even the year before that. It was called Torchlight Frontiers. It's been in alpha for a long time. I played a little bit of that last year because I got into the alpha, and then, but they just moved over to Steam. It's finally on Steam now, and so they sent me a Steam code, but it's also now Torchlight 3, which I assumed was going to happen anyway. I'm like, I don't know why you'd call it Frontiers instead of 3. It's just easier. People are like, oh, there's a third one. Great.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of issues before when it was Frontiers. That's why, even when I was playing it, even when we started this, and it just was never worth talking about because it was kind of broken and it wasn't great, and it was weird and it didn't feel like Torchlight. So, but this definitely does. Like, I'll say the only thing that's weird though, now that they've changed the name, your opening like cinematic is like all about frontiers and all this stuff. So I'm sure they're gonna change it eventually. But it looks good. It crashed on me a couple times, but that's just the server stuff. I'm sure that maybe that's migrating to Steam as opposed to the Arc system that it was on their launcher before. Plus, I'm sure everybody's trying to get in there because I did it the day that it like launched over there, and everybody probably got their keys. So I played it a couple days after that, and so it worked a little better. I was able to get in. I was playing like this mech robot type of guy. He's like all wood and metal, and it was fun. I definitely, like I've been itching to like play a Diablo type thing. So, like I said, it's just an alpha though, so I don't know when that game's gonna come out.
Oh, sure.
But it was definitely fun because I was like, all right, this is what I this is what I want, and I got in, and I was like, okay. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to play too much because the game's not out. You know, it's not something that I want to put 20 hours in and then have to do the same thing when the game comes out.
Right.
So it was enjoyable to kind of get in there and see what they're doing, especially seeing what they're doing since last year. But I'm looking forward to that. I had a llama with me because you have pets in that game. And I can't remember. I mean, they had dogs and stuff in the last one, but I can't remember what I played in Torchlight 2. I played the shit out of Torchlight 2. I love Torchlight 2. Yeah, I had a llama, and he was just kicking ass. So I'm just like giant robot, walking around with my llama.
Okay.
It was cool. Like I said, it's very much that type of game and that style of game, but they've definitely done a lot to refine it around the edges. And they have a cool art style. Like, graphically, it definitely looks a step up from Torchlight 2, but Torchlight 2 came out forever ago. So I don't know. Like, I even went to play Diablo, but then it was like, this needs to update. And I was like, well, fuck. I guess I'm not playing Diablo. It's like the only downside to like stuff on Steam. It doesn't matter if you play it or not. It'll just give you the updates, Whereas like the PS4, if you haven't played the game, it won't automatically drop the update for you.
It's such a pain.
Which I mean, I get.
You sit down, you're like ready to play it, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, never mind. I guess I'm not playing this tonight.
Yeah, well, it sucks because their internet sucks.
It's just annoying.
Like their pull down sucks. So it's just like that's when it was like, yeah, because I would have gotten in and done a few things but I didn't. So and Diablo's way far off, and I'm becoming increasingly worried about fucking Blizzard.
Yeah.
I have not personally played Warcraft 3 Reforged, but the things I've seen are pretty bad. I know.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
I had another one of our friends has been playing it. He's like, yeah, dude, it's rough. So. I just forgot it came out because I'd planned on playing it, and I'm kind of glad I didn't buy it. But I can just play the original version, which I own. But yeah, so I don't know. It's worrying me later and later. It's funny, the top thing, I went on their Reddit, their subreddit, and the top comment is just basically like, Blizzard is dead, and it's like, dude, all the shit that it's like, I like Blizzard so much, but it's just like, man, it's like, say what you will, because even before you could be like, well, they're doing all this shit, but the games are good, and that's the thing. Even back in the day, I'm sure there was shit going on that just didn't come to light because the internet was not a big thing. I'm sure there
it's a whole different
shit
beast
was going
now.
on, with every company. It's not like, and that's the other thing is like EA and all of them have done just as bad things, or if not worse, But it's always been,
sure.
They've always had the crux of like, yeah, but we make really good games. Like, we've got WoW, we've got this, we've got that, and now they don't have that. And so it's becoming, increasingly, for me personally, it's like, all right, well, now this stuff that you're doing that I could ignore, like, I could just play the games, if I chose to. It's becoming increasingly hard to do that and not merge them and go, okay, well, now you're not even doing the thing that you're supposed to be doing well.
Right.
Which is the game shit, like WoW is fucking in the shitter, because I have a friend who just obsessively plays WoW, and he's like, dude, that's in the shit. The only thing that looks like it's going pretty well is Overwatch, which is kind of how it's been, and I just think it's because they're, like I said, I think their team is so secluded from whatever's going on that, I think Jeff Kaplan has so much power that he's just like, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want, and right now they can't afford to lose him. So, because if they lose Overwatch, they literally have nothing. Like, because WoW's in the shit, now Warcraft's in the shit. Like, they have nothing, and they have no games coming out. I'm pretty sure that the Diablo mobile game is probably dead. Because we haven't heard shit about that.
It wouldn't surprise me at all.
It wouldn't surprise me if they just canceled that altogether. They do it all the time. Like I said, you look how much money they spent on Titan and then never released that, and it became Overwatch. So, Diablo 4 is next year. Overwatch 2, who the fuck knows?
Right.
So, like I said, unless they needed this to hit and it didn't. So, it's just another knock against them, and it's eventually there's going to be enough knocks that people are going to be like, all right, instead of going, I'm going to buy everything you put out, it's going to be like, now where we're at with the rest of the video game world is where Blizzard has now gotten to, which is a sad thing.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, you could be like, whatever, fuck it, whatever they put out, I'm going to buy. it'll probably be good,
Right.
It's like CD Projekt Red. It's like, okay, whatever they put out, I'm probably going to like. It's probably going to be good, but if they had a miss, you'd be like, okay, well, they've got a miss. Like, even if hypothetically Cyberpunk wasn't as good as it,
should be.
It
right,
should be.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's like, okay, they missed one time, so we'll give them that miss. Let's see what they do next. But if they had a second miss, that's another. That you're like, oh, okay, that's why EA's in the shit they're in, because they've had a ton of misses.
Oh, because they just miss and miss and miss over and over. Yeah,
they're just so detached from everything. Like, they don't know. But like I said, so that game was fun. That Blizzard shit's going on. But I'll keep an eye on that and see if anything else happens. If they do fix it, I'd like to play that because I enjoy Warcraft 3, but we'll see. And they've said they're going to do all this work and said all this shit, but the problem is there's stuff that they like showed last year and they promised that's not even in here, so I don't know.
It's like, it's too little too late, I mean, these are the things you should be, when you make these promises, they need to be kept through, when you put it out to your people. Like, it's...
Well, the thing I don't understand is, I get games are hard to make. I get that, and that's what people need to understand.
Sure.
It's like shit's hard to make, but the thing is, Blizzard Activision, one of the largest video game companies in the world. If you need fucking time, you take your fucking time. It's not like you're not making or breaking Blizzard by releasing fucking Warcraft 3. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so take your fucking time.
If
do
you
it
need
right.
to delay it, delay it.
Yeah,
if you
who
need
gives
to,
a
yeah,
shit?
exactly.
Like, nobody's clamoring to do that. And if you fucking need money, if Blizzard needs money, they have bigger issues than that. Fucking Overwatch alone could probably sustain them. Like, it's, I don't know. And they've got WoW still, so it's like they've got things that are just pumping money into that company all the time.
Right.
But and Activision's there, so it's like, it's not like, even if they were going south, Activision has the money to get them out of it. Call of Duty can shove them a bone and give them some money. But it's like two things I don't feel bad for. It's Call of Duty and fucking Blizzard. It's like, don't whine about shit being hard and you don't have enough time and all that shit. You guys have the most money out of everybody in order to get shit done. So do it. But I won't bitch about that anymore. But hopefully they get that shit together, and hopefully Diablo and Overwatch 2 are good. That they have to be, because I think if they are not, Blizzard's in a really bad space. Last couple years have not been great. Like, so those games have to hit, and they have to hit hard and be really good. If Diablo doesn't hit, I think they're fucked. Like, Overwatch 2, whatever, people will still play Overwatch. But I think if Diablo 4 is bad or has some of the bullshit that's in some of this other stuff that's happened, it's not going to be good. Because that's their core audience, is Diablo. Overwatch is a little, more mainstream, whereas Diablo is not. It's a very niche audience. Like, it's a big audience, but it's still, this day and age, it's still...
It's kind of funny for you to say that, because it almost seems like you'd think it'd be the opposite with how long Diablo's been around, but...
I think it's been around a long time, but I don't know many casual people that play Diablo.
That's true.
Like, hardcore that are excited day one to buy Diablo. Like, the casual person is not going to ever know the problems with Diablo 4. Where it's like the hardcore Blizzard fans are the ones that they have to appease, that are going to be there day one. And those are the people that are going to convince the casual people not to buy that game.
Right.
It's going to be me going like, don't fucking buy Diablo 4 because it's bad. But other than that, I played some GTA 5 online with my brother, this past week. The game's still fun. We fucked around, He's got so much shit in that game that it's kind of fun to get in there. He's like, I have a yacht. Let's go on my yacht. And I was like, damn, why do you have a fucking yacht? He's got like 30 cars, and like he's got like all this shit. Like I've got my office, and I've got an apartment, but he's got a ton of shit,
That's funny.
The game is just fun to play. Like, it's just fun to kind of get in there and do shit, But so I fucked around with that, and then this is just for me personally. I watched the Fast and Furious trailer. I'm super excited.
Are you really, though?
I'm super. I love Fast and Furious.
But it's not even. It's an.
It's not even
movie
a guilty
point.
pleasure. I just love those movies. But I've loved Fast and Furious since the beginning, so it's not even like I'm like, oh yeah, Fast 5 is great, and then I started to like these movies. I unabashedly loved the first movie. The second one's terrible. I love Tokyo Drift, so that's why I'm excited for Han, because I actually really like Tokyo Drift. I'm not, because he's really only in Tokyo Drift, and he's just a side character in those other movies. So
Okay.
I'm kind of and also Justin Lin is back directing, who's the guy that did 3, 4, 5, and 6. So
They're just so insane now. They're just so crazy.
did you watch this trailer?
Yes,
Yeah,
I did.
it's literally at this point I was just like I love this franchise anyway, but even I was like, all right, we're getting a little bit out, And I was listening to some people talk about it the other day, and they were kind of like, in the logic. So hear me out. In the logic of Fast and Furious world, like 5 and 6 were pretty grounded, in their own logic.
Okay.
But like
all right.
7 and 8 fucking just like blew it off the door. It's like none of that shit. The submarines, shit like that. Because even like the safe in 5, you're like, that's ridiculous, but whatever. That's like the one ridiculous. Those movies had like one ridiculous thing, and that was it. And then it's like, then the other movies happen, and like Michelle Rodriguez is like flying off of an overpass and gets caught by Dom, and then they land on a car. It's like shit just keeps going up to the point where like even in its own movie logic, it starts to not make sense.
Like, they're superheroes now. Like, the stuff they do is more impressive than Captain America or Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's like that's the thing for me. Like, and somebody said this the other day, and I was like, you know what? That is the perfect like analogy to how I feel as like a person who likes this franchise. Is that like when Captain America like catches Mjolnir in like Endgame, like all the people that love Marvel, like yes, it's like Han coming back is like that moment for me, because like I'm that excited and I like him so much that's that moment. Like you seeing that, like all the people that love Marvel, like yes, that's cool. So Han is like, that's in this movie franchise, like that's that moment, But yeah, I don't know. Like I was actually pretty disappointed with the last one. I thought it was fine. I think the movies before that are better. I think with the shit that was going on with The Rock and Vin Diesel, you could tell that there was shit going on. They weren't ever in the same scenes. It felt stilted. Something felt off in that movie. And I think, it was weird, like even Tyrese was having shit going on. You could feel there was tension on screen, which is the worst thing to happen. You kind of felt something was weird.
Well, fun fact, I haven't seen a single one of those movies.
Oh man, you're in a...
So I actually have no clue.
I think you would actually like them. Like if you watch them all, like it's one of those things that because I watched that movie in 2001, like when it came out,
Right.
I was like, I've just been kind of slowly following it. And even before, like I was excited when they came back. Like when Tokyo Drift came out, obviously I love Japan and shit like that, and I love drifting. So like it's in my wheelhouse that I would.
What they do in Tokyo.
Yeah, dude, that fucking. Plus, little Bow Wow's in that movie. He's got his whole car,
Dig.
And so yeah, I don't know. I love this movie. So I used to watch just like the first 3 just over and over and over. Like I fucking just watched them all the time. I don't really know what it was. I just liked those movies. And then like I remember when 4 was coming out, when they're like, all right, everybody's back. We got everybody. They're coming back. I was happy because I was like, okay, cool. Vin Diesel's coming back. And they did it. And even 4 for me was fine. It was all right. Fast 5 is obviously the best movie out of all of them. But I don't know if it's my favorite. It's the best of the movies, but it's not my favorite. I think the first one is still my favorite.
I mean, that makes sense.
Because it's just like, it just hones in kind of what that franchise, because Fast 5 is a very different movie. It's just heisting.
Right.
It's,
by natural. By nature.
Yeah.
You do 5 of those. It's got to evolve into something.
Yeah, but I like the like kind of grimy like street racing type thing, and it kind of sucks that they kind of got so far away from that it's not really about that anymore. So that makes me sad sometimes that it's like, okay, there's none of that left anymore. And I think the one thing that's missing too is I think obviously with Paul Walker being dead, I think Brian always brought that little bit of that to it, that street racing thing, because, he was the cop, then he was street racing, so he kind of had that legacy to that. And then when he was gone, it could shift, but it always has felt weird without him, being there. But so Justin Lin's back for this one and the next one. But I mean, I think they're filming them back to back because that movie's coming out next year. So
that's interesting when they do that.
There's not going to be a pause. So I'm wondering if there's going to be like a cliffhanger or something at the end of this.
I could guarantee it.
Yeah.
If they're doing that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and The Rock's going to be back. I guess Vin Diesel and him are friends now. So he'll be back for the next one.
I guess so. I mean,
you got to have John Cena and The Rock be in a movie together. It's got to happen.
Yeah.
So, but, so yeah, I'm excited for that. Like I said, it genuinely looks better than the last one did. Like, I was excited to see the last one, but I was kind of disappointed with it. But this, like, I like Justin Lin, so this feels more like a Fast and Furious movie, like, visually than those did. I don't know, it looks well shot and it looks cool. Like, so I'm excited. But, and even though the stories are garbage, that's what I go to them for the characters. I don't care about the stunts. Like, that's what I'm there for. And I think that's what was lacking in the last one. I think the story was just garbage. So more so than they normally are. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And then, I don't know if you watched it, but, I watched that Final Fantasy VII trailer. I'm sure you watched it.
Of course I watched it. Yeah, we texted a bit about
it.
Oh
yeah, we did. That's right.
Yeah.
But, I know we went back and forth on it, and I was like, you know what? I watched it a couple more times, and I was like, you know what? It's weird because now and I've heard people, like, I've been reading some articles about it, and it's like, it's weird because there's stuff in this game that isn't in Final Fantasy.
Right. That's kind of what we said, that they have to add a lot.
Yeah,
like,
but then there's some stuff where people are like, I don't know where this is at. Because they're like, oh, it's ending in Midgar.
Where's that?
But then they're like, yeah, we knew Sephiroth was going to be there early, but then there's like Genova stuff, and there's some weird stuff that like messes up the timeline if they're just leaving Midgar. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing. I don't know if they're moving stuff forward, like obviously they're adding stuff in, like Hojo's in it way earlier if he's there, because he's not in it that early. So yeah, they're changing a lot. Which, I mean, fine. If the thing is that game story is not so amazing. I get that people like the characters, but it can always be reworked to be better. I don't think that specific story told exactly the same way will work. No,
I think it's just, I mean, I'm fine with what they're doing. It seems like, seems like Sephiroth confronts the entire party at some point, which that doesn't happen until after Midgar. It seems like there's a fight with the guy who dresses Cloud up as a woman, and that doesn't happen. Like you said, Hojo, like you said, Genova battle stuff. So they're adding a lot, it seems like, and that's okay that's fine. I don't think I think it's going to be less of a remake and more of a reboot.
Yeah. And the thing is for me, I'll say this. This is the first time that I was actually excited to play this game.
Same.
Because up until this point...
I have to say, I don't know if I'm excited to play it still. Because I don't know... this was a lot of story stuff and a lot of cutscenes.
Yeah, so gameplay-wise, I'm not sure I'm not excited. But I'm excited for the game to see kind of what they're doing,
Right. Well, right. But like I said, I was like, I kind of just want them to make this into a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They did. It's called Advent Children.
Well, right. But now make your...
And it's great, so fuck all the people that don't like it. Because guess what? Final Fantasy VII ain't that great, so Advent Children is not necessarily a knock below that. Mother. Yeah, there's some dumb shit in Final Fantasy VII, so if people don't like Advent Children, I don't know what the fuck they want. It's all action, which is what that game fucking needed. Yeah, and Red 13's in it earlier. I don't think he's in it that early.
Red 13 is in Midgar. Red 13, they find him.
He's at the end of it, isn't he, though?
No, well, he's at the part where you save Aerith.
Yeah, I guess it's there.
Because that's where, you're like, all right, and I think Hojo's there. I think Hojo's the one that locks you up with Red 13.
Yeah, he does, but I mean, there's not much, like, there's not like all that fucking dialogue with him and watching you and shit. That's what I'm saying. They added all that.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's there, but he's not like, he's kind of there and then gone. So having like that much interaction with him is going to be different.
Right.
It'd make more sense if they announce his plan more in the beginning of that game, Even Aerith going like, oh yeah, Shenron Energy Company's not the real enemy. There's a larger thing. That's different, Well,
all that black smoke like swirling around, I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's different. So it'd be nice for them to kind of foreshadow some shit, and then instead of going...
there's going to be some mystery to the game. Like, it's not going to be... You're not going to sit down and know exactly what to expect. So that's nice. It's nice that it's going to be different.
Yeah. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube, and he that's like his favorite game of all time. So I watched him watch it to be like, okay, if he points out, so he was like, yeah, this is not there, this is not there, this is not there, and I was like, okay, this guy would know more than I will,
For sure.
There's some stuff that I noticed, I'm like, no, that's definitely not there, but he was like nitpicking, going like, okay, this isn't there, this is new, and I was like, cool, okay, there's more new there almost than old, which is interesting.
Oh, definitely. Well, and again, the fact that they're making it this entire game in Midgar, it has to be a lot of new, because that part of the game is only like 4 or 5 hours. And they're going to turn this into 30 plus.
That's what I'm curious to see, man. When this game is actually done, how long is this fucking game going to be?
I still think it's going to be so weird that they're doing the first part on this generation, though, and then the next parts will be on the next gen. Like,
I mean, the only thing that they have going for them is that they're so close to that next generation that, this engine
it'll
could
get
probably...
a remaster.
This engine can probably scale pretty well, I'm sure they've made this going like, okay, we need to scale this because we're not, obviously these next parts are going to be made, but also maybe the next parts will come out pretty fast, I'm sure they have multiple teams working on this game.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, if they fuck around and this takes forever, also it's going to lose momentum, whereas if they can have this game, if they could have a game a year, that's what would help them. Which they've got enough people, they've got enough money and manpower that they could. It's also going to make them a fuck ton of money. So it would be best of them to come out with a game every year. Plus, Square Enix has nothing Final Fantasy related going on. So it'd be nice it would give them a couple years break from Final Fantasy if they just released one of these every year.
Oh, yeah. They wouldn't have to do anything else.
Yeah, because nobody's going to be like, where's Final Fantasy 16? Yeah. No one's going to give a shit. Because you're giving them a 30, 40-hour RPG every year. And then that'll give them time to figure out what the fuck they're doing with Final Fantasy. Plus, if this combat hits and it does well, this kind of like in-between shit that they're doing, it's a good test ground for them to be like, let's test this shit in here.
If it doesn't, it's going to be very strange to have a different combat system with each new...
Because they're going to change that shit.
Final Fantasy VII game. Like, that's weird.
I wonder if they will, though. I wonder if they're just going to be like, they're just beholden to it at this point, But I'm saying,
if it's bad, then they're shooting themselves in the foot,
Because if they got multiple teams working on these games and they're going to come out and this is the combat system they have, I'm sure they could refine stuff and go, okay, well, we need to tweak numbers here and there. We need to do this. We've got to take this out. They could do that stuff, but yeah, I don't know. So, like I said, I still don't know that I'm going to, love this, but also with Cyberpunk not coming out in April, I'll probably play it,
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to touch on that. All right. This is the main thing I wanted to talk about. I watched that Kingdom Hearts shit.
Oh, yeah.
My God. It's fucking worse than Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
it's literally just Kingdom Hearts 3. It's literally this is the last act of Kingdom Hearts 3 again.
Yeah, it's like he just time travels and then they just do the same stuff and it kind of it explains a little more. I don't even know how much I want to get into it because I don't know. So I appreciate some of the cutscenes.
There's one specific thing I want to talk about, and that's obviously just the ending.
Well, I was going to say, so the one thing I really appreciate from this, all of this, the entire thing, which I'm not going to pay $30 just for this little appreciation, is after the 3D game, after Dream Drop Distance, I was like, okay, why is Old Man Xehanort the one that's back? Why is it him? It should be, young Terra Xehanort, blah, blah, blah.
It is.
And they addressed that shit.
Yeah.
They did. He was like, both of us came back and his body is still empty, of his heart, so we can use it. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Thank you for addressing that. You both came back at the same time. I guess that makes enough sense. There's some thought here.
You filled in one plot hole. Great.
Yes, but it was one of the plot holes that was on my mind. So
it's like,
and then they kind of explained what happened, how we got Kyrie back, and what the power of waking is, and the time travel. I mean, that's the thing is, it basically, again, 3 made every death in every Kingdom Hearts game canon, because you would die, go to that world, that little Moogle thing would know you're there, because he says that. He's like, you've been here a lot of times, but you've never remembered it.
Not anymore, because he fucking takes him.
Right, and so
now if people die, they're fucked.
Well, he doesn't. He just hangs out there. I don't think he's like the farrier.
Nope.
I don't know.
He's the barrier. I've decided it in my canon in my head. That's how it works. The plot of Kingdom Hearts, I'll put it in people's mind if they want to visualize how many plot holes are in Kingdom Hearts. Have you ever seen the movie Holes? If you like
that many holes,
if that's how many holes are in fucking Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that's fair. I honestly think that's fair.
And you're in one of them, and you don't realize you're like this hole, and you're like, man, you're focused on one thing, and you're like, that's bad. And then you dig out of the hole, and you're like, fuck. There's a bunch of other people in all the other holes trying to figure all that shit out, and it never makes any sense. And now it makes even less sense than it did before. So they wrapped up one thing. Okay, another thing that pisses me off is that this is the end of the game, which pisses me off also.
I mean, it ends in the same place as the end credit scene where Sora just disappears.
Yeah.
But they explain why he disappears now, I guess.
Well, and Kyrie's back, instead of her disappearing.
But then Kyrie's locked in a sleep. She's locked in as soon as he disappeared, she fell asleep. So they're still tied.
Well, because they're studying her. Well, she went to sleep on her own accord, though. Because they were studying her heart, because she thought that she would have, she could find Sora that way. So, yeah, we're kind of,
I guess
we're kind of in the same place, but it still is more ending, and that always pisses me off when it's not really DLC. You just went back and fucking added more to your ending.
Yeah, exactly. And it's annoying that you have to pay for this. I don't know.
Yeah, this should have been free.
Yeah, it should have been.
Because this is not fucking DLC. You did not add anything substantial. The game's only 3 hours. You could have literally just put those fucking cutscenes out and it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
You could have just put that last fucking cutscene out. And
so there's just some group battle stuff. There's, Mickey stuff. And I think they added some to the core game. When you fight, when it's the 7 lights versus the 13 darknesses, you can choose if you want to play as Roxas or choose if you want to play as Terra. Kind of cool, whatever. But there's such little addition. And then there's all the secret bosses. You can fight every organization member again in data form. Whatever. That's all the stuff they added for the final mix version. So at least we're not having to pay $60 again for that like they did in the PS2 era. But nevertheless,
still $30
just because you're not doing that.
I don't feel I don't know, if 15 I would have been okay.
15, right.
But 30, I'm not okay. That's where I was I don't know. 15 I would have been okay with being it's 3 hours. If I want to do these secret bosses, I can.
Right.
Or fucking put those secret bosses in the fucking game. Just add those to the game. But God, man, I don't know. So they expand upon what's this, Zigbar, whatever, and so we get that same kind of scene, and he still never says what his fucking.
Well, I don't think that was Zigbar. I think that was Lushu's master, because Zigbar is Lushu.
Well, yeah, they're the same person.
No, Lushu is Zigbar and Lushu are the same person, but the Master of Masters is someone else.
No, not him. I'm talking about when the 4 are there again. They play that same scene.
Oh, sure.
And they keep going. He's like, "What is your?" And he still doesn't say what is.
He's like, "Oh yeah, gotta find. I'm just doing."
Yeah,
blah,
and
blah,
I'm like, I got to that point. I was like, "Oh, is he actually gonna say what it is?"
I hate.
No, he still doesn't fucking say it
so much when it's that trope of when. The character, there's 2 scenes like that, because there's the one where the dude with the goatee is calling him out on it, and then he's like, oh, never mind, I don't really care anyway. It's like, why? You just grilled him just to be like, okay, I don't. And then you grill him again in front of your boss, in front of big, bad, old Master Xehanort, and then the conclusion is, never mind. No matter. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
Yeah, and that was a weird, because the guy that's talking to, Terra Xehanort. That's the Master of Masters, right? That's who that's supposed to, or is that Zigbar?
That wasn't Terra Xehanort. That was young Xehanort.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the Master of Masters.
Okay.
Lushu's master.
But yeah, it's weird. He's like very animated, and it's weird for somebody that's supposed to be like powerful and like I don't know, he's just off.
Yeah, that's the way he is in that little movie thing, I guess, too. It's just, I don't know.
It's odd. And then he says one thing that I was like, that was weird, But
that's his thing. I'm okay with it because his whole thing is like, oh, but not me. I'm too scared to do it. Oh, but you're great. He just like manipulates people by making them. He like puts himself down. And he's like, I'm a master, but like you're way better than me. So you must be like super, And he's obviously
super powerful
using them.
Yeah. But he says that in the young Ansem, and he's like, or Xehanort, he's like, you're gonna be out of that cloak or whatever, blah blah, and he's like, it won't be able to protect you anymore. And I'm like, it's a one-off thing, and it made me nothing. But I'm like, is he implying that these coats are actually protecting them from something, and that they are something?
That's actually been a thing in all the games. Is that the black cloaks protect you from darkness?
Okay.
And so actually, I like that because it's actually pretty clear that he's telling him eventually he won't need the black cloak.
Yeah, and I got that. I
just
just missed the point where it was like protecting
him.
them from something, I knew it was for something. Obviously, they all wore
That's why Mickey wears it in Kingdom Hearts 2. I think he states it.
So the thing that I want to talk about. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say the best part of the entire thing, the thing I like the most is Christopher Lloyd as
he's
Master
great.
Xehanort.
He's great.
So good, and he should have been the voice the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing now because if you play the game start to finish with the DLC, you get a mixture of both voices.
Who was it before?
Like they didn't. It was the Rutger Hauer.
Oh, that's right.
And he's not good.
Who was it before that though?
Before that, it was Leonard Nimoy.
That's right, Leonard Nimoy. Okay,
very good.
I was like, I know it was somebody else. Why am I blanking on?
But they should have gone straight from. They should have gone straight from Leonard Nimoy to Christopher Lloyd because he's close enough. I mean, he doesn't change his voice much, but he's still close enough to Leonard Nimoy without the extra gruff of smoking for all those years.
Yeah.
That it's you can tell it's the same character, but when Rutger Hauer does it, it's so different. And now in one single game, and I get it, you don't want to re-record all of his lines just because he died, that's disrespectful, but now in this one game, especially some of those early cutscenes which happen in the middle of the story, he just when he's with his minions, he does a different voice. Like in the story,
weird,
he's like, I'm gonna do a silly voice when I'm with when I'm with the good guys, and I'm gonna do a voice closer to my old voice when I'm with the bad guys.
Yeah, it's strange.
It's strange.
Yeah, Christopher Lloyd does do it good, and I was like, when he said that, I was like, man, it just the thing is, I didn't notice it, whereas I noticed his voice in Kingdom Hearts 3 that it was off. Whereas when Christopher Lloyd does it, it doesn't. You're like, oh, okay.
Rutger Hauer doesn't seem to have any voice acting experience whatsoever.
No,
and he just gives such weird delivery to some lines.
It's like you're like, okay, yeah, I can picture your character from Blade Runner, and it's about on par with Xehanort. Same monotone thing. Like it's all the same,
and that's not. It's just
not what you want.
The thing is, it's if he did it the whole time, fine, whatever. But it's such a contrast from the animated voice that Leonard Nimoy gave, and really the same animated, voice that Christopher Lloyd gives.
Yeah.
And it's just so different and jarring. It's so weird, and it's just unfortunate because basically what it came down to was, what's his face? Why am I forgetting his Nomura just not caring as much about the English voices? Like he doesn't know, he doesn't care. He cares about the Japanese cast, and he just wanted like, oh, I want a Star Trek guy.
Yeah.
And the other guy, I want a Star Wars guy, or I want no more Star Trek guy. Go to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, he's like, okay, I don't know, just get an old guy.
Yeah.
and then he ends up being the best. I don't know.
Yeah. It is strange.
But it is. It's what's especially strange is when they, with Master Ansem, old Ansem the Wise, when I don't know if they replaced Christopher Lee before he died or if he was too expensive, but they got a guy who does his voice perfectly.
Yeah.
So, they got a guy doing an impersonation of Christopher Lee to keep the character consistent.
Yeah.
So why not do that with, your main villain. I don't know.
Yeah, man, they had some good people in those roles.
Yeah.
They don't need more fucking Christopher Lee. God, they're so good.
Yeah.
So good.
And then the main cast is just awful.
God, fucking
like
terrible.
the heroes are so bad.
That's the one thing I
so
noticed
bad.
is I was like, are they just literally just fucking reading this? Like, fuck, I could do a better.
Especially Riku.
Fucking Riku's the worst. I'm like, I could be a fucking better Riku. I'm not even that great.
We need to go to the place of darkness.
Sora.
He literally has
like,
the most
fuck,
fake
man.
inflections. I feel like he's doing it on purpose. Like, there's no way anyone would think that's acting. Mickey, do you think we should go to the world of darkness?
It reminds
know.
me of what
Maybe
they did
we
with fucking
should.
like Shenmue 3, where they got the guy and he was like, he had been obviously voice acting for way longer now, and they're like, you want me to update it? No, we want you to do the same fucking thing that you did fucking 20 years ago.
Yeah,
and that's why
it's
he
like-
sounds the same. They literally went to all these people and they were like, we just want you to sound like you did in the PS2 era, because obviously,
Yeah.
the kid that plays fucking Sora?
Yeah, Sixth Sense kid. What's his name?
Fucking, what am I blanking on?
Haley Joel Osment.
Haley Joel Osment. Obviously,
Yeah.
the kid can act, so obviously he's had more
Right.
time since then. He could probably inflect more and do more nudges.
Well,
Nope,
now
they're
he
like,
just does.
be the fucking
They're
same.
just like do generic anime voice.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Mickey, Donald,
when
Riku.
he was a kid then, so it makes sense. He's a grown-ass man. Let him
Oh, I know.
fucking act.
So why do they tell these characters, okay, keep it consistent with your whole, okay, yeah,
But then
sure we're on
change
the
people. Yeah, it
PS4
doesn't
now.
make sense.
Yeah, you get where I'm going with this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it consistent with your performance you did, 15 years ago.
But who gives a shit who our main
but
villain
when it comes
is?
to our main villain, yeah, exactly. It's so frustrating.
I'm with
Like,
you.
Oh, who cares who voices him? Let's just get someone who sounds completely different and tell him to just do whatever he wants.
I'm like, Pete better be the same fucking person. We got Pete in here. He's got to be the
I
fucking
do
same.
love.
I love
That's the
Pete
thing.
also.
He shines through because that's what's his name? I love him so much. Oh my gosh.
Maleficent's good. Like, all the Disney people
Well,
are good. Like,
Yeah. I mean, because of the people who've been voicing those characters for the last 20, 30 years.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
been voicing them since the 80s.
it'd be like not getting Jim Cummings to do Pooh Bear. If you were just
Thank you.
like,
Jim Cummings does
Yeah.
Pete. Jim Cummings, yeah.
yeah, if they were just
Same
like,
guy.
nope, we don't need you, Jim Cummings. We're gonna get somebody else to play Pooh Bear, and he's like,
Well,
well, fuck,
Maleficent, I don't. Yeah, he's so good.
it's like, I'm fucking Pooh Bear. I don't know who you're gonna get, but it's me.
Because he's been doing all those. Yeah, Pooh Bear, Pete. Jim Cummings is so talented.
He's like, Nomura, I don't know
And
if you know this because you live in Japan, but I fucking do like 50 of the Disney voices, so you're fucked because I do
Well,
all
and those
of them.
guys, those guys aren't expensive, because they're just. I put quotes on just because if you've listened to the podcast before,
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect.
Yeah,
for
but that's
voice
what they
actors.
do. They do a lot of it, so it's like,
yes, they are just the. They've never been in the limelight. They've always just done these characters.
Yeah.
They've done the Disney shows since the '80s. They've done the, all these cartoons since the '80s.
Well,
so
also, he
they've
doesn't-
always been.
they're gonna have work. Jim Cummings is not worried.
Right.
He's like, I'm
Oh,
fucking
for sure.
Pooh Bear. Like,
But so
he's
that's the
got
thing
it.
is so that they come in and they're not paid as well. Probably. I
Yeah.
mean, they're paid standard rates. Or not. It's not a Christopher Lee. It's not a Leonard Nimoy, Rutger Hauer, whatever.
Yeah.
But like. It's easy to get them, and there's no question as to like, okay, obviously we're going to get them. They've been doing it forever, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, a job. I love doing jobs.
Well,
like,
also,
this is, I'm
With Rutger Hauer, it probably took him way longer. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to get the same level. Jim Cummings is going to go in there and fucking nail it and then go home.
he's going to nail it, and he's going to give different takes, and he's
Yeah.
going to do, I mean, listening to the Rob Paulson podcast, I listened to that a lot back in the day. And just the way they approach those characters and all the, the ad-libbing and the different, the stuff that they can do with those characters because they've been doing them for so long, they have free reign. They can kind of talk to the directors and be like, okay, but, we should probably do it like this.
But I'm
and
Pooh
the
Bear.
director's really going to be like, yeah, you're right. They get all the cards there, and
You're making an
they're
anime
gonna, they're going to put
game.
their heart and soul.
I'm fucking Pooh Bear. I'm not going to
Yeah.
listen to you.
Right.
This kid has
It's like,
big
oh, well-
fucking shoes with a giant key. Shut the fuck up.
Well, that's because it's the love for that character. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't care what Pooh Bear is featured in this
Yeah.
time. I love doing Pooh Bear,
Yeah.
and I know he's going to be the same way. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
But
Yeah.
so the things that I am intrigued by, obviously they're not going to go anywhere because the more doesn't know how to write shit. But
Yeah.
the things that are more intriguing, so they set some of this up at the end of 3. and then they kind of expand upon what that stuff is, which I think is interesting. And then there's
the Noctis stuff or whatever his name is, the anime character, the Yozora.
Oh, Yozora, yeah.
Is that what you're going with, or what?
Yeah, so I like that they expanded upon that. We'd have to wait forever for that, but that's like the only tidbit of stuff that I think is interesting. Is there's that, and then he's like, okay, we've had this dream, and then I was watching somebody and they brought it up, and I was like, oh shit, that is exactly, it does connect. It's like the one thing that connects fucking Kingdom Hearts. It's the thing he says. He's like, I've been having dreams lately, not sure if this is real or not. And that is the fucking opening quote of fucking Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so it is this weird thing where it's like, okay, are you guys actually fucking going to connect? Are you there yet? And I read an interview with him where Nomura said that Kingdom Hearts 3 was the entrance to the ending of the game, like where they want to go. It's like, this is the entrance of the end. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, he's saying, so the thing is, though, there's some people that will be mad if they do what I hope they do, but it makes sense. There's little tidbits, though, like where, Yozora was like, why are you calling yourself Sora? And he's like, I am Sora. And he doesn't, he kind of doesn't believe him, because he's like, I don't normally look like this. So it's like, does Sora not look like that? So I'm betting with all that shit he's got, that's got to be a not real world, Yeah,
maybe.
Because, and then somebody brought up that in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts, the first one, they say that line, and then Sora is falling from somewhere.
Yeah. Right.
So it would only make sense if that is not his world, and he's been there. And not saying that the world that Yozora's in is his own, but it's implying that they are going into different worlds, and that's not their own world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be interesting if they set up another tier. But the other thing that somebody pointed out is that the guy driving is Luxor. When Yozora's in the car, that's Luxor that's driving him and talking to him.
Oh.
Because they were like, he's got the peak and this tear, and they like match the voice. It's the same guy.
Yeah, that's what they kept saying. Like the real question is, who are you? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, and he also said, he's like, impressive, isn't he? Isn't it? And that's his line. He always says impressive. So it's weird. They're starting to like fold in, but then it's like, who is Yozora then? Is he who he is, or is he something different? Because he's like, oh, I don't normally look like this, So it's weird. But he's an interesting character, though. Like, I even like the bad ending of the game. Like, it's kind of where he, like, freezes him and is like, I'm going to save you. Like, it's weird,
Well, so that's the only one I saw. So I actually,
okay.
What's the...
So the other one is, if you beat him, is he kind of starts to disappear, and he's like, I guess my powers aren't needed yet. And then he wakes up in the car, and the guy in the front's like, Commander, which is weird that he's calling him Commander.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then he wakes up, and he's like, he says, impressive, isn't it? And he's like, yeah, I've been having these strange dreams lately. And he says the quote, and it kind of merges Sora's and his voices. So that's kind of what that is, But Sora goes back then, and he's in that realm. He's in the final world or whatever again. But he doesn't know where he's at. Yeah, so it's weird. It's
well, it's kind of an interesting thing because it also just kind of seems like Nomura is doing what he wanted. He's kind of giving Final Fantasy 15 a reboot.
Yeah, and that's what people were saying.
They were like, out of it.
They were wondering if that is that character in like some fucking weird way, because Nomura also said that in the same interview. He was like, this game couldn't have happened without the Toy Story level.
Yeah.
So that shit that's in Toy Story, that game is fucking weird and has a part to play with what's going on there. So that's got to be the same world, that they're in, that he's in. Yeah,
and I figured that.
And it also connects to This World Ends With You. So there's a lot of weird things, like... And that guy's like, Yozora's like, I came here and I had to go through trials, and it's weird, So I don't know. It's all weird, but it's more interesting than fucking Kingdom Hearts is.
I know.
All these people that are like, no, I love Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, no, that shit's way more interesting.
It is him finally kind of graduating, which if that's what 3 ends up being, like, okay, I cobbled together 3 so I could end my shit with Disney and get, appease them and get where I wanted with this story so I could move the fuck on, then I'm okay with that. I really am.
Yeah, the thing is, people are like, oh, I don't want 4 to be this thing. I'm like, no, it needs to be that, because if there's Disney shit again, I'm not playing it. I will watch the cutscenes, but I'm not fucking buying that game.
And maybe that's why he was fine with 3 being so grueling and disjointed, because he's like, do you really think you like the Disney stuff? I'll show you what the Disney stuff is. Pointless, 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 pointless. End of the game actually matters.
Yeah, here's all the Kingdom Hearts shit.
Okay, do you still care about the Disney stuff? Because I know I don't.
Neither do I. But I never
Not
have.
anymore.
Like, it's, and yeah, the first half of fucking Kingdom Hearts 3 does not need to even exist.
It's awful. It's so superfluous.
Yeah.
It's just pointless. It's awful storytelling.
Honestly,
because
if you had just given me, I would have been pissed that the game was so short, but if you just giving me that end, I would have been more happy with the game.
Yeah, right.
Because the first half of that game is just bad. But the problem is that the end part is so short in comparison to the rest of the game that overall the game is bad. It's a bad game. Like, if we're just looking at it from a video game standpoint, it is a bad game. Even in comparison to the 2 before it, it is significantly worse than those 2.
Oh, totally. Totally.
And, but yeah, that's the thing. Like, that ending is what intrigued me by the last one. It was like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on? And then with them expanding upon that, I'm like, oh, okay, they're actually going to do something with this. Because I was worried that they were not going to do anything with it.
Yeah.
But them going like, oh no, we have a plan for it. Also,
I mean, they always expand on those end credit scenes, though. That's the one thing they've always come through on.
Yeah. But this one is in a way different direction than those other ones, though. Like,
sure. Yeah, I agree.
This changes the game, like, and people are like, I don't want real world shit. I'm like, why the fuck are we holding on to like this Disney shit? That's the shit that's not good.
I know. Exactly. And it's so pointless. The only one where it mattered was the first game.
Yeah.
Because even in Kingdom Hearts 2, the Disney stuff is not in service to the rest of the story. In the first one, it is, because you think you're fighting against Disney villains as the main villains.
Yeah.
And then it's only the end that it's like, anime bullshit. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
2 is full of anime bullshit, sprinkled with Disney stuff that kind of fits. And 3 is completely cut in half. Disney stuff, anime bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, each one gets worse and worse with how it's outlined, or how both things are balanced. It's time. It's time to be done.
And I think they kind of bring to a conclusion, like even Maleficent and Pete, like when they're looking for the box, but then he gets it and they're kind of done. They don't really have anything. They were kind of facilitating all of this, so it's like they're done. So really them being in another game would be fucking weird and dumb.
Right.
Like,
now they didn't really get any resolution themselves in this one, so
yeah.
Also weird, but whatever.
Yeah. But I think that's just at this point, Nomura just doesn't give a shit about that stuff. I think he's actually being constrained by the Disney shit. Like,
oh yeah, totally. Because that's the thing, is when it came to the Disney stuff, they dictated what you can do. They were like, for Frozen and Tangled, you have to retell the movies.
Yeah.
We will not let you do sequels because we have our own sequels planned. And then they were for the other ones, like Toy Story, they were like, okay, we can kind of make something fit here as long as it doesn't really matter in the world of Toy Story.
Yeah.
And then the only one they really got to have some fun with was Big Hero 6. Exactly. They got to kind of make their own sequel too.
And that's the one I liked the most. I mean, I like that movie anyway, so that for me that's the most interesting one anyway, because I was like, all right, I actually like that movie. Fuck all the. I mean, those other. Tangled is fine, but I don't want to fucking play the fucking Tangled again. Like, I fucking Frozen. I just wanted to
ridiculous.
Shoot myself. Like,
I mean, yeah, just straight up doing Let It Go. While, awful. It's bad.
Yeah, I don't. The thing is, like, the audience for Kingdom Hearts is not 12-year-olds.
No, so
it's
why
30-year-old men who have been playing fucking Kingdom Hearts. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it sells to that demographic, but it's weird. I don't know who's buying Kingdom Hearts. They're going to get in and have a bad time.
Right.
If you're buying it for fucking Frozen and you get to the end of the game, you're like, who?
Yeah.
Who's Xehanort?
And then, you go
What?
into the crazy anime stuff. It's so disjointed. It's like, who is that game for?
Also, it's the third one. Like, so you're going in and being like, what the fuck is that going on? Can you imagine like some 12-year-old girl that's like super into Frozen and gets through that and then gets to the end of this and goes, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
They're playing this chess game at the end?
Like,
I'm so confused.
Who is it marketed for? Right. It makes no sense. That's Disney putting their fingers all over it.
Like,
so yes, he should get out of it.
Kingdom Hearts is like the only game where you can people are like, yeah, you can just jump in. You can't jump in.
No, you can't.
You got to play all 12 of them, or you're not going to understand, and you're still not going to understand shit. But at least you have an idea.
God.
You have like a kernel of an idea of what's going on.
So true.
It's so funny because even
unfortunate.
people that are like steep and they love this shit, and that's the problem. If you obsess about this and you still don't know what the fuck's going on, that's a problem.
That is yes. That's the main issue.
What's that guy that we watched that like broke it down? I can't remember his name.
He was the best guy ever.
Yeah, best guy ever.
His Nick something or
What is
other,
it, like,
or Nate.
Fucking
Nate something.
3.5 hours of him trying to explain fucking Kingdom
and
Hearts.
he even gets stuff wrong or just doesn't understand.
And
or
that's
it's
the
like,
most sense
doesn't matter.
I've ever made out of Kingdom Hearts is watching
Yep.
that. And I wasted 3.5 hours doing that. Like, oh man. Like, well, that's why like I watched most of these cutscenes and then I was reading an article and they're like, oh yeah, it's just all the same shit over. And I was like, all right, I'm skipping. Where's to the new shit that okay, right here. So I went to like where he went back, And I was like, great. Cause it was like 2.5 hours. And I was like, I'm not wasting 2.5 hours of my life. So I watched like the first half and then I was like, I'm going to go to the end. If this is all shit I've seen before, then, yeah, I'm like, I get the gist. He's going to go through all of these people and go through their hearts.
Yeah.
I get it. I don't need to see all this. So let's go. But yeah, so I don't know. I just want to say that, yeah, obviously they're doing something else. I mean, he said it. So, which I guess good on him. Maybe they'll end it on a not shit note.
So that's the thing is but he's doing Final Fantasy VII remakes. And here we are thinking like, okay, maybe they'll do one a year, but now we have more bullshit for Kingdom Hearts, so I don't know.
I mean, I wondered though, like how much involvement he has, like day to day on fucking Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously he's the director, but I mean, it's they have a game to pull from, so it's not like they need him really directing them. Like, hey, make this thing again. We're gonna add a bunch. So I'm sure he's like. Maybe heading like what they're doing new and stuff like that, but for the most part they're remaking that game, and
right.
Don't let him make your combat, because it'll suck. Don't let him tell you how to make a story. So
I really hope the combat isn't what we got. I mean, it looked fine what we got at the last E3 or whatever it was. When it was at E3, at Square's presentation.
Yeah,
but man, those battles look like they took an half hour.
That's my worry. Like, that's my honestly the biggest thing I'm worried about is that shit looks like insane. It was long. Plus,
hopefully that was just a early version, and they just wanted to make sure their presentation could go long.
Well, maybe
enough
they were dragging it out to show more. Also,
right. That's my hope.
But maybe they're like, hey, if you suck at this game, it'll take this long.
Yeah, maybe.
But I think also Nomura has probably been itching to make a Final Fantasy game because he hasn't gotten to, and he didn't get to make his. So
he didn't get to make his 15 that he wanted. Yeah.
So him shoehorning, like his Final Fantasy game into this, he's like, I'm fucking making it. You don't know I'm making it, but I'm making it. It's just going to be called Kingdom Hearts. And also, guess what? What did he bring back in this DLC? It hasn't been in here. He brought all the fucking Final Fantasy characters back. He's like,
kind of. They're just
like, guess what? Here's all the Final Fantasy characters again. I'm bringing them back. Fuck Disney. We're making Final Fantasy again. I don't know why they didn't let him make Final Fantasy. Like, obviously that's what he wants to do.
Yeah.
This is what they need to do. Really fuck it up. Just the next Kingdom Hearts, it's just fucking called Final Fantasy. Just bring it full fucking circle. It's just like Final Fantasy versus Kingdom Hearts or something like that. And then that's it.
Yeah, they could.
You know how much money they would make off of fucking Final Fantasy, like actual crossover where it's just that they just need to make it all Final Fantasy characters the next time. They own all that shit.
That's the hope, man. That's the hope.
I mean, now granted, there's not a lot of Final Fantasy characters to pull from, because like 5 of those games, there's not really any characters, and then the other ones, they're all terrible. So unless you're bringing Kefka, I don't know how many people you're bringing. I guess you can bring. I guess you can bring
I'm
Auron.
a little sad.
Auron's cool.
They didn't. It's kind of crazy to me that they didn't bring back Sephiroth and Cloud. You know, for the Sephiroth boss battle, which is in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. It's a big staple. Is fighting Sephiroth. And what better marketing?
Yeah, because you got to have him though. You're about to fight him. You know, they don't want to taint it.
But what better marketing for their remake than being like, get ready to fight him in Final Fantasy VII by fighting him one last time in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. Square Enix does not think logically, okay? They're making Kingdom Hearts games. Like, you know.
Just crazy. I mean, I guess my thought has to be that they're like, well, we're going to do so much with Sephiroth so soon that it doesn't make sense to include him in this game, you know? But I don't know. It's like, it's just crossover, man. Like, stick him in. You already...
I think maybe if that game hadn't been, if it wasn't so close, maybe it would have worked. You know, maybe that,
and maybe they don't want to muddle up Cloud's story any more than they did in the Final Fantasy. You know, like in Kingdom Hearts, Cloud and Sephiroth are like 2 halves of the same person, is what they allude to.
Yeah, it's weird.
And they don't want to confuse anyone else, because then I guess if you get Final Fantasy
they don't
VII
want to
remake,
confuse anybody in a Kingdom Hearts game.
Yeah, what am I talking about? Of course, I don't give a shit about that. Well, it's not that then. I'm just trying to figure out why they didn't put them in.
I just want to know what kind of ice cream they're eating. That salted ice cream shit. God. That's what I want to know.
Yep, that's the most important thing.
Also, you know, another weird thing. I get that they're in that town. Okay? What town is that? I can't remember. Is that Twilight Town?
Radiant Garden or Twilight Town? Yeah. Twilight Town, yeah.
Why the fuck is Sora there? It doesn't make any damn sense. I guess he can just go there. But he's up at the top with Kairi. It makes sense why all those other characters are there, but then Sora and Kairi just like above them. And I'm like, why the fuck are you here? This is not from your game. Go the fuck on. You weren't in this game. It is.
You know? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't.
You know.
Fuck.
Also, I just want to watch them play chess. You know. They got to that chess game and they never played it. He's like, you'll see. I'm like, we're never going to see though. We're never going to see.
Oh yeah, that's like the new chess game. He's like, all right, this is the new one, 1 versus all or whatever.
1 versus 7. You're like, oh, what is this? It's a new battle royale. That's them making a battle royale.
I mean, that's gonna be what's important in the sequel or whatever.
Yeah, I guess. I just don't want to play Sora. That would also. The other reason I would be okay with this is that it gives them an out to redo Sora.
Yeah.
And make him badass.
Yeah, that's true, because if this Yozora is like Sora. 2 halves of the same person, right, yeah, that would be cool. That would be very cool.
So that's the only thing I could do is that they could actually legitimately change up this thing. Also, like, Kairi and all of them, like, they could be insignificant, you know, really. You know, the whole time I was watching this, I was like, why does Sora give a shit so much about Kairi? Like,
I mean, I guess just because he did in the first game.
Yeah, I know, but like, how old is Sora? Like 16? And he's hung up on this one girl? Man, grow the fuck up, man. Move on. There'll be other girls.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, what if she doesn't even like him? What if she just wants to be friends, you know?
I don't know. She was coming on pretty strong to him in this game. So.
Yeah, she was, and nothing happened, and she disappeared.
Yeah,
he disappeared, and she was like, "Whatever."
Although in 2,
I'm gonna go to sleep.
He gives her the cold shoulder constantly. He's like, "Oh, hey, Kairi, like, good to see you," and then all of a sudden finds out that Ansem is Riku in the next like 5 minutes of the game. Like, drops to his knees crying, like, "Riku, I looked everywhere for you, Riku," and then Kairi's like, "Great, all right." This is awesome. So
Sora's like the Gohan. That's who he is.
The guy I
like
is
just crying all the time, but never becomes powerful. That's the only downside.
Never gets with Videl.
Yeah, they're the Gohan and Videl. You know, like I said, except he never becomes Ultimate Gohan. He has an ultimate form.
He skips straight to jumpsuit Gohan.
God.
And never gets out of that one.
He jumps straight to Great Saiyaman.
Okay, either one, yeah.
I am the Great Saiyaman. I do want to mention before I wrote it down, but I didn't talk about it. Is before we leave, I watched the fucking I don't know what I was in the mood the other day, and I watched the Dragon Ball Cooler movie, the first one. Wow, that movie's rough.
I know it's not good.
God, man, going back and watching these, even the ones that people are like, no, they're good. I'm like, no, they're all fucking bad.
Right, and like the fight between Goku and Cooler lasts like 5 minutes.
They're like
maybe
40 minutes of fucking nothing happening.
Nothing.
Like literally, Gohan was flying to get sensu beans for like 20 fucking minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, the part that everyone remembers is just the fight, and it's so short by comparison to the rest of the movie. Nothing happened. That's the way all those movies are, though. Except for maybe the first Broly movie. Like, I guess that fight lasts a while. It is,
yeah. I've watched that one recently. That one's longer.
Yeah. But in my opinion, it's not really a satisfying conclusion. Like, Goku just kind of gets a power he's never had before and never has again.
Yeah.
And wins. So I don't know.
I will say, too, I went... we talked about Super Saiyan 4, so I actually went back and watched the GT fight with the Omega Shenron. I was like, because you were talking about it, I was like, I haven't seen it in a while. Man, that's fucking bad. I was like,
it's
Jesus
not a
Christ,
fight.
how long is this fucking battle? This is so dumb. They just stand there
and just every so often they just talk.
They just talk and talk. Vegeta is God. I forgot how fucking terrible Vegeta is.
Oh, he's
in GT.
awful.
I was like, Jesus, man, why is Goku so much better in this? People bitch
and
about
they don't
Goku,
really do
but
any
Vegeta
of,
is
They don't do any
terrible.
of the fighting, like not even like the lazy fighting where they don't even draw them and just do like choo 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 choo.
Yeah,
they just kind of stand at awkward angles and shoot giant lasers at each other. And that kind of, it's like, all right, we won. Like
the only cool part in that is when Omega's like, oh yeah, by the way, I just absorbed fucking Nova. I just got in his body and I fucking killed him. That shit was cool. He's like, yeah, his body could withstand the heat, so I took his body. And then he just like crumbled after that. I was like, all right, that shit was cool.
Yeah.
That was it. It was like the only moment.
Yeah.
And like everybody's just standing around, not doing anything.
That's it. Most of it is just standing around.
And I forgot about the Blitz waves, and Vegeta's like, just blast me with the Blitz waves, Bulma. And she's like, I can't. It's real dumb. Like, I was like, God, I forgot how terrible this is.
Yep.
It's just so bad. Like, even if you take the worst Dragon Ball Z episode, it is better than most of it.
Yeah.
And God, I forgot about how terrible that theme song was. Jesus Christ. I was just
Welcome to the Grand Tour. Something like that, right?
No, it's
Dragon Ball GT.
No, the other one. It's like the slow one that's later on. Like dun 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 na 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 na. I don't remember what it is. God, what is it?
I don't know. Maybe I gotta revisit this.
Yeah,
they're all on. It's on Hulu, so
yeah, you do because it's fucking bad. Oh God, I'm trying to remember what it is.
I don't know, man.
So the 7 Dragon Ball, that's like baby. That's like baby arc. But like later on.
Welcome to the Grand Line or whatever it is.
It's the one after that. Like in the later one. God, it's fucking bad. It's fucking bad.
Well, everybody look it up. I'll look it up. We'll listen to it together after the podcast.
Dude, it's fucking terrible. But I watched that and I was just like, bit by bit, that's it. Falling under your spell. Bit by bit, under your spell, blah, 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 blah. It's so bad. I forgot how terrible it was. Anyway. But yeah, so that was that, and then I did that, and I was like, oh yeah, this movie's bad. And then I'm just realizing, I'm like, oh, there's no good Dragon Ball. I'm looking for something. I don't know what it is. I'm like grasping. I just want, I just want Ultra Instinct Goku. I just watched that fight again, and I was like, God, it's so good. It might be my favorite fight in Dragon Ball because it's great.
It is so good.
It is fucking so good. And that music's good. It's just great. Brum, 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 brum. God, it's so fucking good. I do have one last thing before we leave. I'm just going to mention it. So they have talked about... one second. They've talked about Animal Crossing coming out. and they showed that new console, whatever. It's like, that Switch is kind of nice. I like that, you know? And then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, you can only have one fucking island per system. You can have one save per fucking console. So it's because all your saves are saved to the actual console, not the cart. Yeah. You cannot have more than one save file. You get one fucking island, and that's it. So there's all this online shit, but you can't have your island that you play and then have one that you play with your friends. And so if you also sometimes if you share games, you know, like me and Ashley or you and Lauren, you can't fucking do that. You know.
So even if you switch profiles,
it doesn't matter if it's on the same system. It won't let you because it's system based. So it doesn't matter if you change profiles.
Well, that's a game I won't play. Yeah. Maybe I'll show Lauren it and see if she'd be interested. She might, but she doesn't. Most games like that, especially the games that are that long, like she gets really into for a day or so, and then is like, all right, this is too repetitive. I'm out.
It's just dumb. Like it's just, you know, because like I could see me like wanting to play with Ashley, but I would be like, hey, let's do our own thing.
That seems totally up your guys' alley, and that's a shame.
I
mean, I guess you have two consoles, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, I would be playing mine, so she couldn't have her own single-player one and one that we're playing.
Right.
You know, like, if we wanted to play Stardew, I could be like, all right, well, here's my main Stardew one, but we're going to create a multiplayer one that we just play.
Our together one, yeah.
You know? And the thing is, especially with Stardew being, like, kind of what Animal Crossing was now, and it doing so much fucking more, I don't know that I need Animal Crossing. It was just one of those things that I'm like, well, fuck, why the fuck would I buy this? And it's like,
are you really surprised? Because Nintendo always misses the ball. And always.
The thing is, it's becoming increasingly
3/4 of what people want.
Worse though, like,
yeah, it is.
I don't want to get off a huge tangent, but like, it pissed me off because I was like, man, this is one more reason that I legit like don't play my Switch. Like, I don't, and it's just like, I don't feel invested in Nintendo anymore as a whole. And even when I do play their games, it's like, okay, they're always, like even Luigi's Mansion 3, it's like, they're there, but then they're not. Like, they fuck up something. And it's like every fucking game now, Pokemon is a fucking disaster. It's just like every game, it's like, you know, they'll do it, and then the stuff that comes after, it's even worse. Like, all the Pokemon shit coming after this now is fucking worse. Like, they're digging their own fucking grave. Like, they had that Pokemon Home stuff, and then, like...
they're so comfortable. They've always been so comfortable for so long that others, you know, indie stuff has caught up with them and done the same things and done it better. And so they're like, oh, people love our stuff. They've always loved our stuff because it's different. Here it is again. You know, it's the same old thing that's different than everything else. Well, it's not different anymore. The indie guys are doing it. And they're doing it better. And we count on Nintendo for, you know, these main IPs, these, you know, what used to be different to expand and make it even more different. But they don't follow through. They're always 2 steps behind everyone else.
That's what I said. Somebody said something about the Animal Crossing thing, and I was like, for every 1 step they take 4, they take fucking 3 back.
Right.
Like, and it's just like, it's, you know, it's frustrating because it's like, you sit there and I'm like, man, I just want to stand in a GameStop and everybody that wants to buy Animal Crossing and be like, no, to spend $15 and buy fucking Stardew. Like, you can play for 300 hours in that, and it'll probably be better. You know, like, I don't know. Like, they're for me, they're not like, they haven't done the shit that Blizzard's done, but they don't.
For sure. I agree with you
there. I
there.
would say, like, they haven't done socially what the things that Blizzard had done, but as a
because
video
Nintendo,
game player, they have fucked me over more than Blizzard has.
Well, that's the thing, is they get away with it because it's almost just like a cute thing. Like, oh, Nintendo, you're always so behind.
See, and I feel like hardcore people have gotten to the point where like, it's not cute anymore. Like, the Mario Maker shit was one thing where they fucked that up. Like, it's just like every IP that they kind of have, they fuck up. Like, the only thing they haven't fucked up is Zelda.
Yeah,
you know, but that's because that's on Numa.
And they took a risk on Zelda thing. They took a big risk. That's the first time. Everything else, they're not. The Pokemon, they're not willing to take a risk. You know, Mario, they're not really willing to take a risk. Now, Odyssey was good because it went back to the sandbox
but I think Mario
thing
takes
that they
more
hadn't
risk
done
than
it forever.
Zelda did, because they had Galaxy. You know.
Yeah. But I think those didn't. Yeah, it took more risks a while ago, but I don't know. I think this was a big risk for. Because Mario's been different for forever. Mario's biggest risk they took was switching to Mario 64, the big sandbox thing. And so really Galaxy wasn't much of a departure from there.
Well, they've been kind of in that format, so they haven't really changed anything since then. You know,
I'd say Zelda was the biggest risk they've taken because they turned, they turned it into a true sandbox game rather than what Zelda. The 3D Zeldas were becoming increasingly more linear and linear. I mean, Twilight Princess extremely hand-holdy and linear. Skyward Sword even more so. We all thought the next one is going to be it's just going to be cutscene after cutscene and hand-holding after hand-holding, and boom, they go the complete opposite way. So
yeah, and I mean that's probably Anuma's probably the only guy in that company other than Miyamoto that can actually get shit done. You know, because Anuma can be like, fuck it, I don't want to make it anymore then. Fuck you figure it out. I've made how many of these?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Fix Zelda. Do it without me. Like, I don't know. Like, and the other thing is, like, you could at least get into, like, with Miyamoto, like, every couple years he'd make something fucking weird, and you don't even have that anymore. Like, like, we even got Pikmin. Pikmin was weird,
Yeah, we don't get those anymore.
Yeah, we don't get the, like, one-off
no
weird
risks,
shit anymore, like, from him. And so I'm just like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, and Reggie leaving, I think, is a big hit for them because I don't think they've been making good decisions since he left, And obviously that stuff was probably in the works, But you still, at the helm, he's making decisions, like, upper-level decisions. And, like, they've never handled Pokemon right. I think that relationship is not great. Like,
Yep.
But also the blame could be on Pokemon Company too. I don't know what the fuck they want to do either.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I say the blame goes both ways because if it's Pokemon Company doing what they want to do, it's Nintendo's responsibility as the parent company to be like, no,
Yeah, I guess it just depends
more.
on how much they can dictate that shit. I mean, they can do games, but Pokemon Company's like, all right, well, they own part of that, but they don't have to make games to make money.
True.
So like. If Pokemon, that's the thing. Like people are like, Pokemon's dead. I'm like, video game wise, they could stop making video games tomorrow, and still make fucking bank. Like, Pokemon's huge. They could just make the anime and movies and cards and be fine.
Trading cards, toys, whatever.
Toys,
it's still
just
going strong.
merchandising alone.
Exactly.
They make fucking bank. They don't have to sell Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like that's the icing on their cake.
Yeah.
But.
All right, man, we went on a tangent. Is there anything else you have for the day?
No, that was it. I just I forgot about that Animal Crossing shit, and I wanted to.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And I think we put him. I mean,
that was
we could go on and on about
just
Nintendo,
another Nintendo thing that I'm just like, fuck.
And
do I even
in the future?
Do I even want to have a Switch anymore? Yeah.
Here's the thing: is like. Okay, one more random off thing. So I'm excited, and I'll probably mention it in the podcast. It's not a big thing, but I'm excited for the Mega Man Zero collection that they're coming out with on all systems.
I am too, because I've never played those.
Love them. I love them. And I played them back in the day on the Game Boy Advance. They were, I love Shovel Knight and all that, and I never really got into the original Mega Man games. Mega Man games I got into.
Miss. I can't deal with that shit anymore. I'm too old. I don't have time.
I never really got into X. The ones I got into were the Battle Network ones, which are such a departure from the side-scrolling Mega Man that really they're only similar in character design.
Yeah.
But the Mega Man Zero games, I don't know why. I dived in and I loved them. I played 3 and 4 back in the day, and then I played the DS ones, the ZX and ZX2 or whatever it's called, ZX Advent or something like that. 3 and 4 are the best games out of the entire series. 1 and 2 are fine. I did play them later. The ZX games are okay. But all together, they're a lot of fun. And you know me, like I love Shovel Knight. I love those side-scrollers. So I'm very much looking forward to that, but I don't know what system to get them on. I don't know.
I'm looking at it. It's because I forgot that was
I don't know if
coming
it will make much of a difference. I could kind of like, I'm going on a vacation to Italy for a couple of weeks, and could be nice to have it handheld.
I think this is something, because of the way it looks and stuff like that, it'd probably be cool on the Switch. Like,
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
Like, I might actually even get this. This looks cool.
I love those games.
This reminds me of, what was that game that came out that was kind of like this? It came out on the 3DS.
I don't know.
Oh, shit. What was it? It was like almost identical to this. Gunvolt something. It was something like that.
Gunvolt. That sounds familiar.
Gun something.
Yeah, they kind of play like the Mega Man Zero games, but I think their story is more interesting. Or not, they are Mega Man Zero. They kind of play like the Mega Man X games, and they do take place after all of those, like 100 years in the future or something like that. And I think the stories are way more interesting and the gameplay is more fun. It's good. You know, it's got swordplay and the gun stuff. So you get a bunch of different weapons as you go. You get elemental stuff you can add. So it's different than like the Mega Man games where you straight up get like wind gun or like you get such random junk shield. You get random attacks that do more damage to the enemies, to the boss. You kind of have that rock, paper, scissors thing. But instead, it's more about elemental damage and just kind of playing as you want to play. Like, if you want to use the shield frisbee, use it. If you want to use the sword, use it. If you want to use the spear, use it.
It's just kind of... Mighty Gunvolt Burst. That's what it reminds me of.
I don't think I ever played that.
It's kind of like that. It has, like, the rotating, like, abilities that you choose. Like, so it kind of looks like that.
Well, I'm excited for it. It comes out
the 25th.
Later this month.
Yeah,
25th.
I might get that.
I think it's only like $30. So yeah,
it's $30.
Yeah, get it.
I wonder how much it is on the other platforms. Am I going to have to pay that Nintendo tax?
I think it's $30 everywhere, but I don't know. So I don't know. I mean, it could be fun to have trophies, but I don't think I care that much. It could be fun to have handheld. So I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
I don't know. It does look interesting.
And the ZX games are kind of cool too, because you don't play as... So the first 4 you play as Zero, and then the ZX ones take place like a couple hundred years in the future, where, like there's different issues. The whole Mega Man Zero games, and same with Mega Man X, is like, it's the struggle between Reploids, which are robots, but like sentient robots, and humans. Like there's this thing where humans are like, destroy all Reploids. These are not real people. Like, this is not good to have them. There's Maverick ones. They go nuts. They kill us. Like, it's we need them all dead.
Yeah.
And then like you're kind of on the side of like you protect humans. No, I guess it's more like the Reploids want to kill all humans because they're inferior, and so you protect this faction of Reploids and humans who are working together to just survive. It's cool. I just like the story, man. It's good. And I mean, of course, the gameplay is just classic side-scroller, awesome action.
I might have to...
Yeah. And then the other ones, the ZX ones are okay. Like, you're like in this time of peace or whatever, but then there's bad dudes jumping out, and they want these biometals, which, like, attach to you. And they basically are, like, Zero and X, like remade as these just, like they fuse to you, and like you can, so basically all the characters, or a lot of the characters from Mega Man Zero, you can switch between them, but you're like one single character. You just get different suits that do completely different things as you collect the biometals throughout the game. So it's cool. It's just a cool continuation of the story. Oh,
cool.
Yeah, get it.
We'll check it out.
Talk about it. Yeah.
All right, sir. Well,
yep.
That's all I got.
Same team.
Until next time, guys, do all the things. I'm starting to put these up on YouTube, so I know you're listening to it here, but if you listen to this, you want to listen to it on YouTube, you can now. So see, my subscribe thing works. Just do it over there.
Yeah, makes sense. Hit that bell if you want to get notifications.
Notified for something.
Smash that bell. That's what they say. Smash that bell.
Yeah, smash that bell. I'm gonna do so many videos like that. Smash that bell. But yeah, maybe we'll put something else up there. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Right now it's a podcast, okay? Don't get ahead of yourselves. Yeah. Internet, you want too many things,
Calm down. Just right now, chill out. Chill out.
Yeah, I don't want to be a YouTuber.
Thank you.
Sounds boring. I want to be a podcaster /
listen to that.
Part-time YouTuber, That's what I'm going for. But, like I said, do all the things. Tell all your friends, if you have friends.